This is the story called Thorn Rosa. Once upon a time, there was a king and a queen. And the king and queen provided for everyone in their kingdom, taking care of them, and this made them very happy. The people loved the king and queen because they knew that the king and queen loved the people. There was one thing, though, that made the king and queen very sad, and this was that the king and queen didn't have any children of their own. Well, one day, when the king and queen were having breakfast in the royal breakfast room, the king was holding his newspaper and reading. The queen was drinking coffee, like this. Whoa! The king put down his paper and said, "What's the matter?" "I think I'm going to have a baby." "Oh, goody," said the king. And she did. She did have a baby a few months later. They were so happy, and everyone in the kingdom was very excited. They all came and said, "We have to meet the baby. This is so wonderful." They came to the kingdom to see the baby. Her name was Thorn Rosa, and they were all so very happy to see her. Everyone said Thorn Rosa was such a pretty child. Thorn Rosa was a pretty child, pretty child, pretty child. Thorn Rosa was a pretty child, pretty child. Well, Thorn Rosa grew up when she was 3 years old and 4 years old. She would run around the castle. She would knock things over. She would rip out pages out of books and eat them. She would get in trouble in the kitchen, and everyone thought she was just so wonderful. When Thorn Rosa was 5 years old, the king came to Thorn Rosa and said, "Thorn Rosa, it's time for us to take you to live someplace where you'll be very safe." So he took Thorn Rosa by the hand, and they walked together to the bottom of a tall tower in their castle. And the king said, "Thorn Rosa, I'm going to open this door for you." He took the door handle and pulled. He couldn't quite open the door. He said, "Thorn Rosa, would you please help me open this door?" And so she took her little hand and helped him, and they both pulled. And they opened the door, and with their legs stepped up the stairs. Step, 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 step. And when they got to the top, the king said, "Thorn Rosa, I'm going to open this door for you." And he tried. "Thorn Rosa, could you please help me open this door? It's just so heavy." And so she took her little hand and they did it together. And the door opened and they walked inside to the most wonderful room. There were beautiful books in a bookcase. There was a fire burning in the fireplace and birds flying past the window. It was so lovely, and that's where Thorn Rosa stayed. Years went by, and soon Thorn Rosa wasn't a little child anymore, but she had turned into a young woman. She was 18 years old, living in her little tower. One day, down at the bottom of her tower, someone walked by, and it was an ugly witch. Now, to do the ugly witch part, make an ugly witch face and an ugly witch voice. One day, there was an ugly witch. One day, there was an ugly witch, ugly witch, ugly witch. One day, there was an ugly witch, ugly witch. And the ugly witch took her ugly witch hand, and she opened the door at the bottom of the tower. Yeah! And she walked up the steps. Yeah, 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 yeah. And she got to the top of the tower, and she took her ugly witch hand and knocked 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Thorn Rosa said, "Come on in." And so the witch did. Yeah! She walked in, and she walked right up to Thorn Rosa. She took her snarled witchy finger, and she touched Thorn Rosa on the shoulder. Touch. And then she turned around and left. Yeah, 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 yeah. And she laughed a witchy laugh as she went down the stairs. Yeah, ha, 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 ha. Well, Thorn Rosa had no idea who that woman was, and she really didn't know what had just happened. All she knew was that suddenly she was feeling very tired. So she did a big yawn. And she decided, well, I guess I'd better have a little nap. So she went into her bed and she pulled up her covers to her chin and she went to sleep. Now, back in the other part of the castle, the king also went to sleep. And the queen went to sleep. And the servants went to sleep. And the dog went to sleep. The cat went to sleep. Meow. And the castle went to sleep. And they all slept for 100 years. During that time, a thorny hedge grew giant high all the way up to the sky, all the way around the castle. A thorny hedge grew giant high, giant high, giant high. A thorny hedge grew giant high, giant high. Over the years, people would come on official business to visit the king or the queen, to ask them questions or to give them information. They would gallop on their horses up to the castle and reach into the thorny hedge and say, "Ouch! Ouch, that hurt, I'm bleeding." And over time, nobody else came to the castle because of this tall, thick, thorny hedge. 100 years later, a handsome prince came riding by. A handsome prince came riding by, riding by, riding by. A handsome prince came riding by, riding by. This prince saw the thorny hedge and he reached out his hand to get through it just like everyone else had done. But he didn't say ouch. Instead, here's what happened. The thorny hedge that was like this, covering everything, when the prince touched it, shriveled down and disappeared, revealing a most marvelous castle. The prince said, "Whoa, this is amazing. I must go inside and meet the people who live here." And so the prince saw a door at the base of a very tall tower, walked up to it and opened the door. He walked up with his handsome prince legs to the top, step, 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 and he got to the door at the top and knocked. Knock, knock, knock. There was no answer. I'd better knock louder, he thought. Knock, 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 he knocked with his handsome prince hands. But still, no answer. The prince didn't know what to do. It was such a wonderful castle. He really wanted to see what was inside it, and he thought about it, and he thought, well, there's already been so much magic today with the thorny hedge. I'm just gonna go right in. And so he took his big prince arm and he opened up the door and went inside. He went into the most wonderful room with so many books in the bookcase and a beautiful fire in the fireplace, and there were some birds flying past the window. And then when he looked at the bed, he saw a young woman asleep. He looked around. This is all very strange, he thought. I wonder if I'm dreaming. The prince really wasn't sure, but he had an idea. He decided to take his finger and touch the woman on the shoulder. If his finger went right through her without feeling a thing, he would know she was a ghost and that this was all a dream. If he felt her, he would know this was really happening. So he took his handsome prince finger and touched her on the shoulder. Touch. Thorn Rosa went, whoa! And she woke up. And at the same time, the king woke up, whoa! And the queen woke up, hey! And the servants woke up, whoa! And the dog woke up, and the cat woke up, meow! And the whole castle woke up. And they were all so happy to be awake after all this time, and they were all very interested to meet this new prince. They all lived happily for 100 years. They all lived for 100